All right, so morning to everyone once again. Today is the 30th of September 2024. Today is the last trading day for the month of September. Morning, Mr. David. Morning, Macaulay. We're crossing over to the month of October by tomorrow morning. Like I always say at the end of the month, you know, it's good to always do an overview, a review. What has your trading experience been in the month of September? Which trades did you take right? That went your way as expected. Which ones turned bad? You look back, the ones that didn't turn right, what did you do? How did you place it? What did you do wrong? The ones that gave you profit. Also, what did you do right? Try to just, have a kind of a review like that. It will help you to improve better on this journey. Trading is a journey. It's a journey. It's a journey of a lifetime. If you want to keep trading, we'll keep learning new things and we'll keep improving on past results. All right, so let's look at what we have for this week. Then we'll also look at what is the market is, already available to give today. So today we're looking at the weekly analysis. We're looking at the analysis for this week. That's from today, the 30th of September to the 4th of October. So I'll give you the general overview of the market, both from the fundamental and the technical perspective. So let's start with the fundamentals. Now, there are a lot of events this week fundamentally, which will bring about a lot of movement in the market. But then I will just focus on the key events which are also likely to be tradable. So those are the ones we put our attention on. Now, lately, usually Mondays are always quiet with no event, but lately it looks like the market is getting populated with a lot of economic data on Mondays, and today is not an exception. There are quite a number of events today. Some of them are not really tradable directly like that because they are speeches. Like, for example, there's going to be the ECB, the European Central Bank President Lagarde is going to give a speech by 2 p.m. The Fed Chair Powell will also give a speech by 6:55 p.m. German prelim CPI monthly is going to hold today. It's an all-day event, so that means we need to trade with caution on all the Euro pairs because of this prelim CPI, which is running all day. Also from Canada, there's going to be a bank holiday today, so we also need to take caution around the card pairs. Now, the tradable event today is just the USD Chicago PMI, and it's even a medium impact event, so that may not really generate much movement in the market like that. But then overall, all these events could bring about some volatility in the market, which can still give some opportunities. But I would just caution that we trade, that we trade with a lot of caution. I will advise rather that we trade with a lot of caution, especially because of the speeches that are coming up. Speeches can bring about erratic movement in the market, and also the bank holiday can also mean that the Canadian pairs may not move as expected. So please trade with a lot of caution today, as in even technically trade with a lot of caution today. Now, tomorrow, Tuesday, the important events for tomorrow, there'll be retail sales by 2:30 a.m., Nigerian time. You might stay awake or wake early to trade that. Even though it's a medium impact event, but retail sales is a major economic indicator. So even though it's medium impact, that does not change the fact that it will still be very volatile. And by tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., there will be core CPI flash estimate and CPI flash estimate from the Eurozone. That will likely move the market. CPI is a major economic indicator. So let's take note of that for the Eurozone tomorrow by 10 a.m. And 3 p.m. tomorrow, it's another time for major events because we have the ISM manufacturing PMI, JOLTS job opening, and ISM manufacturing prices all happening simultaneously by 3 p.m. That could lead to quite some volatility in the market. And on Wednesday, the important event on Wednesday, we have the ADP non-farm employment change by 1:15 p.m. Now, anything employment can lead to volatility in the market. So let's take note of that for Wednesday. And there's also crude oil inventories by 3:30 p.m. on Wednesday. We can mark all these events in our calendar so that we can plan towards trading them. And on Thursday, by 7:30 a.m., there will be the CPI from Switzerland. So the CHF is expected to be very active on Thursday because of the CPI by 7:30 a.m. And 1:30 p.m. Thursday, that will be the unemployment claims that will most likely move the market. And other dollar events also that day can still move the market, like the final services PMI by 2:45 p.m. and 3 p.m. we have the ISM manufacturing PMI. ISM services PMI, pardon me, by 3 p.m. And Friday is the last day of the week, and there's going to be a lot of volatility, on Friday. The key event on Friday will be by 1:30 p.m. And that is going to be the biggest event in the FX industry, the NFP. So by 1:30 p.m., that'll be the average hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, and unemployment rate coming up by 1:30 p.m. So let's take note of this. This is actually the biggest event for the week, because not just for the week, even for the month, because this will likely determine the direction of the dollar. Now, we should also take note that the US election is drawing closer. So dollar lately has been very, very, unstable. But then no can tell, let's say how the NFP comes up this week. It should give us clarity, to the next, as regards the next move of the dollar. So these are the events we have for the week from a fundamental perspective. Like I said today, we really don't have any seriously tradable events, but then we can look at the technicals and see what to expect from a technical perspective from the market. So I'll flip now to my MetaTrader platform and we'll look at the technical setup that we have for this week. All right, so from the technical perspective, USD CHF is been trading around this support level for quite some time now, and price is still at that support level. I mean, for quite some weeks, price has been ranging around the support level. This is the support level I'm talking about. So in the course of this week, or latest by Friday, we expect there's a possibility for price to have some kind of reversal from that point. If price is unable to break out below that support, then the next thing we want to see is a reversal in price. That's the weekly time frame. The same is still reflective on the daily, the 4 hour, and even the 1 hour. So we'll try to wait and see a perfect scenario where we can give an actual setup if it presents itself. Currently, it looks like it's trying to form something that may look like an inverse head and shoulder, but we have to just wait for it to be properly formed before we can give direction as to whether we are buying or not. But then I'm technically bullish on the dollar for this week. Now, last week, Friday, there was a lot of volatility across the JPY pairs. All of them just got, bearish around 7 a.m. in the morning. And that bearish setup actually is providing us with a possible trading opportunity for this week. So if you look at the AUD JPY, for example, this is AUD JPY on let's go to the weekly time frame. Now, the weekly time frame, we can clearly see that last week closed as a rejection candle on the weekly time frame, which now formed hit a resistance zone. Technically, when you say rejection candle around resistance level, it's an indication of a possible reversal in the bearish direction. So if you go down to the daily, we'll discover that rejection candle evolved into a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern, still at that same resistance level. And if we even take it a step further, I think there is one support. Okay, yeah, we can still find a support turn resistance again. It's just an additional, information. This is the support here, which cuts across that region, also giving us a support turn resistance. And on 4 hour time frame, all this currently is evolving into kind of a head and shoulder head, a second shoulder, and we are expecting a further decline on the AUD JPY. So technically, I hold a bearish outlook on the AUD JPY. Now we'll be looking at giving us or giving having to go short, that is trigger a sell if price. I think let me just take it a step further by drawing this trend line. So we'll have clearly a rising wedge pattern also. Now all these are patterns telling us that price is expected to continue in the bearish direction, which we have seen right from the weekly time frame. This is the shoulder here. We have a shoulder, a second shoulder, then we should expect a decline from there. So we're waiting for price to break through the neckline region from where we can now trigger a sell trade. So that is this minor support zone. If a new candle opens below that zone, they will be ready to go short on the AUD JPY. Currently, RSI is clearly below 50. I'm on 1 hour time frame now. RSI is clearly below 50 and MACD is clearly below 0. So this is already in the bearish zone. We are only waiting for a clear entry once price breaks through that support zone. So I'm bearish on the AUD JPY. And I'm likewise bearish on another JPY pattern, which is a New Zealand JPY. It has similar structure or similar pattern as what we can see on the AUD JPY. For the New Zealand JPY also, you can see that price hit is a resistance zone last week. Closed as a rejection candle around that resistance zone on the weekly time frame, and on the daily time frame also, just like the AUD JPY, it closed as a bearish engulfing candlestick. And we also have a support turned resistance, and we can go down to the 4 hour and we can see we are seeing the formation of a head and shoulder, which also will continue in the bearish direction. And we also have, just like the AUD JPY, we have a rising wedge pattern also, which is giving us the direction that all is facing the bearish direction on all these pairs. Now you can trade either of them, either as a swing or as an intraday. The choice is yours. But all we're looking out for currently is a break of price below the neckline for us to trigger a sell also on the AUD, on the New Zealand JPY. So I'm bearish on the AUD JPY and the New Zealand JPY. Now I'm equally bearish on the New Zealand USD. Like I said, I'm bullish on the dollar, so I have a bearish outlook on the New Zealand USD. Now for the New Zealand USD, this is a weekly time frame, and we can clearly see that price has been trending downwards. We have a descending trend line right from the weekly time frame, and also we have a resistance zone. So there's now a confluence around this region from where we expect a further decline on the New Zealand USD. Let me zoom it bigger so that we can see the confluence point better. All right, you can see here that price is meeting at the point of the resistance and the trend line. You can clearly see this is the confluence region. We have resistance and trend line. So technically, we should be looking for an opportunity for reversal around that region. So if we go down to the daily time frame, and most importantly, the 4 hour, this is the 4 hour time frame. Now, two things can happen around this region. We can have a rising wedge pattern on the 4 hour, which be a swing setup if that is okay for you, or you can still go down to 1 hour. Now the 1 hour, this is what I'm seeing on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour time frame, we have a smaller movement which you can capture, and that's what I'm drawing here. We have a rising wedge, so we can just wait for price to break through this, for it's something like in the range of some, let me check, can give us some 20 to 30 pips, on the 1 hour. But the bigger move is actually on the swing. So it depends on your preference, your trading style. Either you're a day trader or a swing trader. But either ways, I'm bearish on the New Zealand USD for this week. I'm expecting a decline in price both on the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frame. And I'm equally bearish on the New Zealand card. Now, for the New Zealand card, I have a very strong setup right here. From the weekly time frame, we can clearly see that we have a descending trend line. Price, is trending downwards. And we also have a corresponding resistance level right here. Now, it's a key level because in previous time, price, had always reacted to this price level. So technically, we're looking for an opportunity, to sell the New Zealand card. And coincidentally, we also now have a rising wedge. So this point here now forms a confluence. The trend line, the resistance, and the higher high from the rising wedge, all of them meet at that spot there. So that's a spot where we expect a possible decline in price. That's a weekly time frame. So if you flip down to the daily, this is what we have on the daily. So this is a confluence point where three set up, met, and that's the trend line from the weekly, the resistance, and the higher high from the rising wedge. So technically, we're looking for an opportunity to sell from that zone if the market is giving us such kind of setup. So let's go down to the 4 hour. This is what we have on the 4 hour. And I think I would rather go with the 1 hour on this. The 4 hour is a swing. If it's 4 hours, it's going to be a swing, but then the setup is still forming. I can have a rising wedge there, but then that will require more time for price to drive down before breaking out downwards. But we can look for an early opportunity at entry on the 1 hour time frame, which is on this zone. So just like the New Zealand USD, you can capture something smaller and get started with that. So I have a bearish outlook on the New Zealand card. I'm expecting price to break out downwards on the New Zealand card. I'm also bearish on the BTC USD. I've been watching this particular one for the better part of last week and even over the weekend. So when the market opened last night, it's one of my favorite instruments to check. Now for the BTC USD, we can clearly see on the daily time frame. Okay, let me do it from the daily. From the daily time frame, we can see that price will have a kind of a channel, but then it looks quite like price is trending downwards on the upper side, and we have a rising wedge, on the other side, on this other side here. So we expected a decline already from today's candle. This is today's daily candle. Price has declined already. Now, will price continue selling today? Well, the market will decide. But then what I'm okay, let me, I think I didn't explain that well enough. Let me just give you a better clarity on this. Price is trending up, down. Now the next wave is a bearish wave here, all right? And we have a rising wedge from that place. So that's a confluence for us to drive for price to be driven downwards. So on the 4 hour, price has broken out, above the lower side of the rising wedge pattern. We can see the breakout candle already here. Now for this one, RSI is clearly below 50. But to be on the side of caution, I will personally wait for MACD to cross below zero. I hardly mentioned MACD. MACD is just a final tool, to fine-tune the whole thing. For better clarity on this one, personally, I want to see MACD cross below zero before I look at should I sell on the BTC USD. But technically, I hold a bearish outlook on the BTC USD for this week. And that's a swing setup anyway. BTC is a swing setup. And I look at two more instruments, then I'll take the questions I'm seeing. I'm also having a setup on DJ30. Now we have a few of us that trade this instrument, but I tell you that it's a very, very sweet setup setting, which I can see on the DJ30. You can see we have a trend line, price making higher highs right here. And last week closed as a rejection candle right on that trend line on the daily time frame. So technically, we're going to be looking forward towards a decline, for this week, precisely maybe from today. So we'll be looking at an opportunity on the lower time frame, like 1 hour, where price will break out in the bearish direction on the DJ30. I'm drawing my trend line already, and you can see that price is already trying to break out below the trend line. So if this current candle closes below the trend line with RSI below 50, now RSI is at 48. I'd rather prefer if RSI can drop to maybe 46 or 45 thereabouts. That would be a better one, because it's possible for price, the way it's looking like, it looks like it's trying to form a head and shoulder, head, maybe a second shoulder, but price might still bounce. So that's why I want the RSI to drop further, maybe to something like 45. That will give more clarity that we can look at an opportunity to trigger a sell on the DJ30. So I'm bearish on DJ30. And finally, I'm bearish on NAS 100. Now, for NAS 100, price also closed last week. Price hit a rejection. We have a rejection candle there, and we have a reversal candlestick pattern. Now, this is clearly a shooting star. This is a shooting star on NAS 100, and that rejection candle also hit a resistance, a support formed resistance, and the next thing we expect is a decline in NAS 100. Now, I can draw a trend line here to form a rising wedge, which can help me capture the price as it drops. Now I can see that price has clearly broken out below the trend line, but then RSI is already at 45. So if you want to trigger a sell on this one, I think it's all cool. And this is actually 4 hour, but if 4 hour, if swing is not your thing, you can still take it down to 1 hour. Now 1 hour, this is actually already in the sell zone. RSI is clearly below 50. RSI is on 37, and MACD is clearly below 0. So this, if you if you're a trader that trades NAS 100, well, you can look at having a sell trade on NAS 100 right now, and they'll trade this instrument with a lot of caution because it can be very volatile. And please also manage your risk effectively by using the necessary lot size based on your account. If you're on any account less than $300, don't go beyond 0.01 to trade this. At least you can target maybe the next, if you want to scalp, that's you can target Fibonacci 23.6 there. That's the next Fibonacci level, and there's a high probability price might hit that level. If you want to take it more, you can go to the next one, which is Fibonacci 38.2. Those are the levels you should target. It's an intraday setup, and you can look at that for today. All right, so that's all I want to share with us this morning. I've analyzed the following instruments. Let me just summarize the instruments I've analyzed. I've analyzed USD and I said I'm bullish on USD though we're still waiting for a clear setup or entry, but technically price, hit a support level on the weekly time frame, and that is giving us a bullish outlook on the USD I'm bearish on AUD and New Zealand JPY, both on 1 hour and 4 hour. And I'm bearish on New Zealand USD and New Zealand CAD, both of them also on 4 hour and 1 hour. And I'm bearish on BTC USD on 4 hour. I'm bearish on DJ30 on 1 hour, and I'm bearish on NAS 100 on 1 hour. So these are the instruments I've analyzed for us this morning. Let's take note of them. This video will be posted on our YouTube channel. I will encourage us to make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at PU Prime Africa on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type PU Prime Africa. Then you can, once the channel pops up, you'll find this video there and many other videos that will have both on analysis and the bootcamp and all training sessions. You have them on the channel. And make sure you subscribe to this channel because we keep dropping content back to back, to give you proper education on Forex trading. All right, that's all I have this morning. Let me take the request I'm seeing here, then we'll round up. iPhone is asking me to check GBP JPY, GBP USD, and you say GBP JPY day trading. Okay, so now, like I said, the JPY pairs are still having a very strong bearish sentiment. But then we'll look now at GBP JPY because that's what your request is all about. Now, GBP now please, a word of caution, trade this instrument with a lot of serious caution because it is extremely volatile. Now, for GBP you can say it's the same setup across most of these JPY pairs. Price closed last week with a rejection candle on the weekly time frame, and that rejection candle is also at a resistance level. So technically, we're looking for an opportunity to sell GBP and that's from the weekly. On the daily, just like the others, it formed a, excuse me, a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern that is, indicative of a further decline. So anyhow you want to look at this instrument is going to sell today. And yeah, the head and shoulder is not so clear like the others, but then can still, have something of that nature. So we expect further decline on GBP JPY on all time frames. This is the 1 hour. Now, this is where you need to be cautious. On 1 hour, yeah, we can see there's a decline, head and shoulder, but then RSI is currently around 31, 32. So it's possible it might have some retracement before further decline. So that's just what you need to watch out for on the GBP JPY. There might be some retracement before we see a further decline on this instrument. So it's still bearish. For that person asking, it's still bearish. Only you need to take caution. Let price, if you want to sell, wait for price to break below this current candlestick. Let there be a new candle that breaks out below this one before you trigger a sell on GBP JPY. So that's my view. Day trading, swing trading for GBP JPY. I'm bearish on both of them. Now, this person is also asking about GBP USD. Now, for GBP USD, I said that we're bearish on the dollar. And sorry, we're bullish on the dollar, rather, bullish on the USD CHF. So technically, we're looking for bearish opportunity on the GBP USD. Now, GBP USD is having something that looks a lot like a long-term pattern. You can see we have price descending downwards on the monthly time frame with price touching the trend line the third time. So technically that tells us that if price cannot break above that trend line, we're looking for, a decline in price. That's on the monthly. You can see on the weekly, candle closed just touching that trend line last week, forming a kind of a rejection candle. And on the daily time frame, you can clearly see that price has been ranging around this monthly trend line in the last like 4 to 5 days, today inclusive. Price has been ranging. That means there's no sufficient volatility to break out above that level. So that tells us there's a possibility of a decline. So we go down to 4 hour. Now this is what I can see on 4 hour. And on 4 hour, price is still ranging, but then I'm seeing a pattern trying to form here, looking a lot like a head and shoulder, which might lead to a decline. It's still in formation, so it's too early to say, but that's what I see trying to form. And on 1 hour, it's still looking, this might still go up to touch the trend line. But in any way, I'm looking for a bearish breakout on this instrument, right from the monthly down to the 4 hour time frame. On the 4 hour time frame, I can draw my trend lines there, and I have a rising wedge pattern. So everything on this instrument is pointing us in the bearish direction, right from the monthly time frame to the 4 hour and even the 1 hour time frame. So entry should be based on, on your own personal discretion, on your trading style. So if you are a day trader, then you might look for entry around 1 hour when price breaks out below this trend line. And if you're a swing trader, you can look at entry on the 4 hour time frame. So we're bearish on the GBP USD. Mr. Olabi is asking about EuroCAD. EuroCAD. So let's look at the EuroCAD. Now, EuroCAD, we're careful with EuroCAD for now. There seems to be not much clarity around this instrument. Though most of the card pairs looks like, as in the ones that are the anti-card, GBP card, New Zealand card, they look bearish. It's also possible for this one, but uh, generally, I will just watch and see for more clarity. On one angle, looking at it from the weekly time frame, you can clearly see that price hits. Yeah, I drew a lot of things here. It might get some of us confused. Let me remove some of the trend lines. All right, this is still a bit clearer. You can see that price hit a resistance level right there on the weekly time frame. And we have a rising wedge. And this pattern here is looking like a double top pattern, which is still in line with what I'm seeing. From resistance, we expect a sell. From the rising wedge, we expect a sell. So having the double top there, still clear that we might be looking for a bearish opportunity on the Euro card. So let's just keep our fingers crossed. And that's on the weekly time frame. Now, on the daily, if it's really going to sell, then this might just be forming a head and shoulder pattern, which can encourage that. But we need to just patiently wait for this to evolve into the setup I'm sharing with us. And this is the 4 hour. So it's still the same 4 hour, still trying to form a head and shoulder. So if it's going to really be a sell, you need to wait for price to clearly break out, below this lower trend line to trigger a sell on EuroCAD. And that's a swing setup. So I still say I have a bearish outlook on the EuroCAD as a bearish setup on the 4 hour time frame. That's swing. All right, they already analyzed BTC. I said we are bearish on BTC, but I've not mentioned gold. So let me look at gold. Now, for gold, I've said it many times, trade gold at this point, at this period with a lot of caution. But then there seems to be some clarity coming up on gold from my recent analysis. Now, we've not had a kind of, rising wedge like this in quite a while. But then this rising wedge is actually giving a lot of clarity as to the next move of gold. So this is gold on the daily time frame, and we have a valid, rising wedge pattern where we have, the higher highs, and price, made another higher high. So there's been, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low, a higher high. So the next wave should be the wave downwards, which is a higher low. So we established that that's the next wave downwards. So on the 4 hour, we can also draw our trend line. And also draw a second one at the back. So we have a rising wedge pattern. So if price is able to clearly break out below this rising wedge, then we'll have our decline on gold. But the confirmation for me on this one is not just RSI below 50 is one. Currently, RSI is at 53. But I really clearly want to wait if at least my MACD if it can cross below zero, I'll be happy, or at least something close to that, because gold has been, making higher highs even when we expect it to decline into itself. So you don't want to be caught unawares. Even with what I'm seeing now, there's a possibility it might still go up a little before it declines. So if it goes up a little, two things can happen. It can form a double top pattern and then sell. And that will even give us more clarity that yes, it's now time to look for a sell. So if it evolves into that, a double top and then a decline, that will even be much more better. If that's the case, I may not wait for MACD to clearly close below zero. But if all I'm just seeing is a breakout that is not a double top, I want to be extra cautious before looking for an opportunity to sell. But technically, I would say we're looking for a bearish breakout on gold. Daniel SN. On BTC, we have a 3 white soldier formation on weekly time frame. How could that affect the bearish bias on BTC? Okay, so let's check that. Well, you can interpret it yourself, sir. If you have a 3 white soldier, and I think that's more like a bullish or bearish pattern. It's not a pattern I really focus on so much. So, but then what I can show you is what I've seen here. I have my channel facing downwards, I'm looking for an opportunity for a decline. I have a rising wedge. So that's where my attention is at the moment, except if there's a change in the market structure. This is where my view lies. I hold a bearish outlook. So if there's any other thing to support that, all well and good. Or otherwise, if there's none, what is here at the moment is good enough for us to look for a bearish breakout on the BTC. USDCHF is trading at the support level, so we expect a bullish movement. As at the time we started the analysis, the setup is not looking too clear. But this USDCHF is looking much like an inverse. I don't want to take this as, except to go down to 15 minutes. Let's look at the 15-minute time frame. Okay, except to want to take that as a second shoulder, there is an inverse head, and possibly we might look at that as a second shoulder. So if we're taking that as a second shoulder, we can draw our neckline right here. So if price is able to break above the neckline, we can look at, picking some profit on USDCHF. So let's see the possibility. So we can look at entry around Fibonacci 23.6 and can ride the trend to Fibonacci 38.2 at 12 pips is too small, except you're scalping. So Fibonacci 50 can give like 23 pips, which is not bad, for day trading. So yeah, the bullish outlook on USDCHF still stands, and the price is actually trading very close to the neckline from where we expect a bullish breakout. Okay, Bolaji Sonny, just after the class, we'll do the upload on YouTube. And our office in Lagos, the address, I'll post it right now. The address of our office in Lagos is at PU Prime Africa. PU Prime Africa, our office is at Lagos Executive Lounge, 54B Adeni Jones Avenue, Ikeja. So I'll put it right now so you can check out our office. Now we have physical training on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 10 a.m. at the Lagos office. The Abuja office, the address at Abuja is 50 AB2 Okewe Street, Jabi, Abuja, PU Prime Africa, Work and Connect Building, 50 AB2 Okewe Street, Jabi, Abuja. Training also goes on in Abuja office Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Lagos, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have physical training. Tuesday is the beginner's class. It's a foundational class for those who, have little knowledge about forex trading, little to nothing knowledge about forex trading, while the Thursday class is the intermediate and advanced. Uh, Tomorrow, I think there's a public holiday tomorrow, so I'm not sure we're open. But if you can't come to, the next time you should be able to see us will be on Thursday. So you're free to come to our office, for training or for other inquiries and, trading activity.
Sorry, sir. Please, I'm also asking for your submission on Euro NZD. I sent it, but maybe you didn't see it, sir. Euro
Okay,
NZD.
I'll check it now.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so this is the Euro New Zealand. There's a weekly time frame. Currently, price has broken out below this lower trend line. That's on the weekly. Let's check from the monthly. price has broken below that lower trend line. So I'm trying to see, okay, the next thing that will happen is that we'll have a support level here. So if price gets to that support, there's a possibility, because with price breaking out below, that doesn't necessarily mean we trigger a sell. Anything can happen. Except we only look for a support and we look for an opportunity to buy. So aside this trend line, the next thing I can see there is a support level. The support level, where I just put it, that's at 1.74527. So if price is able to make its way to that support, then we can look for an opportunity to go long, to go in the bullish direction on the Euro New Zealand. So that's my outlook at the moment, except there's further changes in the market.
So are you bullish bias, sir?
Honestly, I don't have clarity at the moment until price gets to this place before we can look for the bulls. Until it gets there, I can't say I'm bullish, because assuming it was already at the support, yes, I'll tell you I'm bullish.
Yes.
But price has not gone into a place of reverse. I can't say I'm bullish. It's not. Don't be too right until price gets to that level.
Okay.
Are you on the
Thank
trade?
you,
Are you on the buy? I mean, a sell trade or what? Or
I'm
buy?
on a buy.
You're on a buy.
Yes, sir. 4 hours.
But it never broke out before you triggered a buy. We didn't see a breakout in the bullish direction. And it has broken through all support, except there's no support in view. You see, it's
I think
50-50. Yeah, I'm with you.
no, I think it broke out last week.
In
Then
the
I took
bullish
it.
direction,
Yes, sir. I think so.
there was a breakout. It should have been a breakout above this trend line here. It's one of the instruments I watched closely too. At some point, it was trying to form an inverse head and shoulder here, where I was expecting a bullish breakout, but then it just kept selling. So I just had to stay out and watch. But
It
at the
broke
moment,
it broke at Fibonacci 38.2, but it's like I did not actually watch the RSI very well. That it broke above 50. So maybe that was where the problem came.
let's just see what happens. Let's just see what
Yes,
happens.
sir.
But for now, I can't say until except price hit this level. Anything can happen anyway, but let's just watch. I don't have clarity
Yes,
yet.
yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Great.
You're welcome.
I'll watch it. Thank you, sir.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Okay, I think I've attended to. Okay, Mr. Raju is asking about Euro GBP. So that might be the last analysis I'll do this morning. Euro GBP. Now, Euro GBP broke a previous support level here, but then it's yet to hit the next support level, which is this place. So I will advise to be cautious. Okay, let me check again. Okay, the tip of this support is still very much valid, and that's where price is. All right, so the tip here is still the tip of the shadow there. That's where the candle for last week, closed on, trying to form a rejection candle over there. So with that, we might be looking for a reversal on the Euro GBP. So let's get to the daily, the 4 hour, 1 hour. Okay. Now, this is what I can say. We're looking for a bullish movement on this, and we can get an early entry on the 1 hour time frame. All right, so we have a symmetrical triangle right here on Euro GBP. So now, since price is at the support level, we're actually looking more for the bullish breakout on Euro GBP. Since price, is at the support level on the weekly, I wouldn't want us to start looking for the BS. Rather, I will focus more on price breaking out in the bullish direction. In the real sense of it, this on the 4 hour should have actually formed a double bottom pattern. That's what I saw earlier. Should have formed the double bottom, but currently there's a lot of range, around this area. There's a lot of consolidation around this area. So I don't know if we just have to watch and see if that double bottom will still work or not. But a symmetrical triangle is what is very, very clear on the 1 hour at the moment. So we can look at price breaking above, that support level, then going in the bullish direction. And we may just use the neckline as the take profit level. So price can just, so it's going to be short movement, just about some 15 to 18 pips. That might just be at least what we can have on the intraday level. Then later on the swing, can have a double bottom, which can trigger something bigger. But on the short term, it can give as much as like between 15 to 18 pips on Euro GBP. All right, so that'll be all for this morning. The person that's asking about bootcamp, please go to our channel. You find all the videos on the bootcamp there. Mr. Barra, what are the channels or valid sources of info where we can get info that actually affects trade move apart from Forex Factory? There are many sites, online. You can check investing.com. You can check fxstreet.com. Those are two sites I can recommend. Can give you a lot of information on what's happening in the market, both fundamentally and even technically. Investing.com and fxstreet.com. All right, that'll be all this morning. Take care and have a great trading week ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.